Morning traders, it's Matt here from the Forex Coach. It's Wednesday the 21st of February and it's currently 8:30 in the morning, and I'm just looking at the markets. To be honest, I've got no trades at the moment, but I just thought I'd go through some analysis that I've been doing. Now this morning I've actually been looking at pound. We had a trade on it yesterday morning, and you can see here, and we talked about this trend line and stuff, and it's kind of just gone sideways since and started to come off this morning. Now I'm looking at this this dollar strength that we've got at the moment, and it looks like it could continue. So although short term there is a possibility for some dollar weakness, so what I'm actually looking at is the potential for a short-term long trade on cable this morning, and then an exit for it to then roll back over to then get potentially another short trade later on this morning, followed by a final long trade, which I think will hopefully make it the end of this short-term downwards trend, so potential for a decent bounce up. So that's kind of what I'm mapping out this morning, which potentially would mean that we would get 3 trades if it was to come off. However, in order to do that, obviously all my criteria for each setup need to be met, which is quite unlikely in a lot of ways. The first one being that on the 5 minutes chart, I need this to get oversold on cable. So if we could have a sort of a pushback down, some sort of divergence type pattern here on the 5 minute chart, maybe come down to this level down here, then for me that'd be a potential opportunity to get in on the long side for a short-term trade. So I'm going to sit and wait and see how this now plays out. So this is a lesson in patience and being strict with your sort of trading plan and stuff. I've got the plan of what I want to happen, but I know I want to get long on cable, on pound dollar, but it's not at the level that I wanted to get long at. So there is this urge to just go, oh well, should I just get in here? But the key is to stay patient. If it goes without you, then so be it. You've missed that trade, but the key is to take the trades in the sweet spot. That, whether that be the timing, the position, the level that you're looking to get in at, and that is the key. And if it means that you sit and watch, good trades go by, then that's what needs to happen. So I'm going to be patient. As I say, I'm waiting for this sort of divergence, a break of this low, and then potentially I might look then to get long. Okay, so I've just taken the trade here. We came down on this candle here, which you can see, and it almost made a perfect double bottom. So it was justification enough for me to satisfy what I was looking for, and I've then just got in long here. But looking at the price action, I do think that we're going to see some continuation of this downside, and we've got some previous lows over here, sort of just above this stop loss here. So there's potential that it could want to sort of keep coming and breaking through here. So I'm going to play this one with caution. But what I will look for is, if we do push up, I'll be looking for short opportunities, because I do see us getting down to here at some point today. Okay, we've just had news out and we've gone through TP1, which is good, but the price has just come off here. So there's the risk of this trade now coming back off. So we've just got to keep our eye on it. Potentially got the option of trialing the stop up here to mitigate any risk. So just going to have a look at the data and see what the news was. Okay, so news has been out, and it was the unemployment rate, which was worse than expected, but not hugely off what was expected. So it's not a significant unexpected result. So what this has done is it's just come down and taken out this previous low here. So potentially there would have been stops all below here of people getting long. Now there still might be stops, and still might be a lot more where people have got long on that. So potentially it could come down and diverge again and take more out, but it's just fell short of our stop. So our stop just below that was safe just, but potentially it could still come down again. Okay, I've just taken the opportunity to actually add back into this trade. So I've now got, after taking that half profit, which you can see here with this blue line, I've now just added back in down here with a target price up here. Okay, we're just pushing back up here, as you can see, and I'm just going to bank this add-in because it's come shot back up. There's a possibility this could pull back down, so I've just banked out that add-in up there. Okay, so purely because this is an add-in, and the fact that this is just shot up in a couple of bars, the potential this could pull back again. We've obviously got a bit of volatility on this pair this morning, so what I've decided to do is just bank it out. It's just short of the target. It was an added bonus anyway, and if it does pull back, then I'll probably add back in again. So maximising the amount of potential profit from this trade by sort of adding in and out and taking advantage of that half profits that we took, and using that to keep entering and exiting this particular trade at the moment. So you can see there this second dotted line just here, you can see the add-in down there and then the take profit up there. So as I say, if this does pull back, then I'll get a third add-in on this trade, but we'll just see how this now reacts. Either way, holding on to the second half, going to see if we can get up to the second target price, and once this sort of settles out and decides what it's doing with this move, then what I'll do is I'll trail the stop up back to just below this low. Just giving it a bit of slack short term, purely because there was always the possibility this could just want to nick out this low, just to take out any extra people that are now getting in long. Okay, stop losses trailed back up. I've just messaged the guys in the trading group to apologise for this trade, because it's been a difficult one to manage, and I understand that obviously some people, depending on their situation with regards to work, etc., are not able to manage trades like this, and ideally want trades that they can enter with a TP1, a TP2, sit back and then just hopefully wait for it to either hit ideally target prices, if not the stop loss, and therefore not manage. But you know, at the end of the day, what I'm doing here is I'm videoing what I'm doing and posting out what I'm doing. Now, as much as I try and do trades like that, obviously there are situations and occurrences where you can't, and you have to work with the market that you've got, as in this case, and maximise the potential that you can from the market in the situation you've got. So hence why I've managed it the way I have, and feel that that is the right way to have managed this trade. But that being said, what is good from this is that as I'm recording it, people who are following the signals are then able to watch the video back later on and go, oh, okay, I see why we did that, and the whole trade that they've entered makes sense then from my perspective, and why I've chosen to do what I've done. So it's a good learning curve, and actually a fantastic way to learn. I always think live trading is the best way to learn how to trade. You know, better than any books, better than any training courses and stuff like that. Just pure live trading, I think is the best. But you know, candle wise, you know, we've had some big candles on this. You know, 45 pips. I think this candle here was about 30 odd pips. So we've had a couple of big candles on here, and I think that you know, that made sense to utilize what we could with that extra half add-in position in order to take some of this profit out there and maximize the fact that we've had a wider stop, because we knew there was that potential for that to come down and take out that previous low. I've put in a horizontal line here actually now, which you can see, which is the previous low, which it looked like it was taken out. So that's where we're at now. In fact, just looking at that hour bar, that's quite significant, that hour bar, because to create that hour bar, it's put this huge candle here, and had this move up to create that hour bar because it wanted that 1 hour bar to close. Now, that being said, that can also be a trick in a way, because what that can do is everyone goes, oh, look at that, you know, that pin bar, I'm going to get in long now. We've got 2 lows here. What a great zone to put my stop loss, because that's how everyone's taught. Let's all put our stop losses under here. And this will now fill up with stop losses. So what can then happen is this downwards move could continue for the next couple of hours. It can take out the low, maybe get down to here, have some sort of divergences and stuff before it then decides that it's going to now move higher. So I'm going to be a bit cautious with that, because as I say, I might be coaching people into getting on the long side. Okay, just back, and I've had to do it again, unfortunately. So it's an absolute mess, this trade has been, as far as managing it goes, but you do get these from time to time. So what I've actually done here now is I've added back in again to the half position that I've added in and taken off twice now. I've now added it back in for the third and hopefully final time. But as the discussion what I just made, I've had to trail the stop loss down slightly, because there is the potential this could come down and take this low out. There will be lots of people getting in long here and lots of stops and stuff like that. So that's the plan, and we're going back up with this with around a similar level to where we've had the last two take profits of this sort of first half here. Okay, just back, and it looks like we were the wrong side of this cable, because it has just kept this trend pushing lower. It looked like with these sort of movements and these divergences that it was going to have this bounce up, but it just hasn't come off. So the situation is that we've had a couple of profits, but I have had to trail my stop loss down. So I've given it more breathing space, because every time it came down it looked like it just wanted to create a divergence and then push up, which it has done several times. And looking at my indicators, there was still this potential, or is still, even as we stand now, this potential for this bounce up. So where we're at is that I'm actually probably, although I'm in drawdown on these two open positions here, I'm probably not far off break even, because I've had the profit here, and also I took off this low, I took an exit up here. So I'm not in a bad situation, and as I say, in a normal circumstance, trailing stops down and moving stops is bad practice. However, if it's within your risk parameter, then you know it's okay. So in this situation, is within my risk, because I've taken the profit, so the initial trade risk is still okay based on the profits I've already taken. So that's where we're at. I've actually got another entry in now, a third entry in. You can see here the target price here with this limit order, just off this low here. So as I say, I'm still playing for this bounce. We have got this trend line coming across here now, which I'll now just put on the chart. So something, it's not going to be perfect because you're missing some and hitting others, but something like that. So if we can get a break of this trend line, then we could possibly confirm that we're going to get a slight move to this momentum and a push higher now. But we have got obviously all this resistance coming down with all these moving averages because the trend is quite clearly down now. So we are in sort of recovery mode on this trade now. Okay, we're now pushing up again on cable. Because we have got this strong downwards trend and the fact that we've been in drawdown, we have banked some profits. I'm going to be happy if I can get out these positions, you know, around break even. So I'm just going to be managing them accordingly. Potentially, if we get up to this moving average, this 100 period moving average, then I might exit the that extra add-in part. Okay, just back, and we can see that we've gone through this target price 1. So after we've trailed it down, and we'll see if we can get this further push up now to get up this second point. So if we do, then that means we've managed to recover this trade. Okay, I made the decision to exit that final part because this is now in a position where it can now come back down and roll back down. If it does, then potentially there's another entry opportunity. But bearing in mind that we had the part profits anyway, and that overall it's a profitable trade. We just had this drawdown. The second part, I was happy to get out of that because it was a nice recovery of that trade, to be honest. Okay, you can see here all the parts that I took off the trade. So as I said, because I took the part profits, I was able to keep adding in. Although price was coming down, I was drawing down, I was managing to take some profits. Ultimately, what I was seeing was the fact that there was going to be a bounce. The timing was off though, as we can see here from the chart. But all in all, I managed to get out the last part that was in drawdown. At a slight profit, and overall it was a profitable trade with all the parts that were taken off along the way. Okay, just back, and some great price action on cable this afternoon. The bounce that it had was quite significant. After we got out, it did come off, and then it just continued to push higher. So this kind of move here was really what I was looking for this morning from over here, but timing was out a bit today. But you know, these two candles here, or 3 candles, were almost 50 pips, so some big volume there. So we've actually just taken another trade, and that is a long on euro dollar. Now this has got the possibility to come down further and take out these lows, so I've split the entry. I've got my 2 targets on this first part, which I expect to be in for the rest of this evening, and probably to early hours of tomorrow morning if it does go our way. But I'm going to try and get another entry in down here if it can come down a bit further, and if that happens, then that would be more of a shorter term entry to try and get out sort of before we get back up to these highs, if we do get back up to these highs. I'm going to wrap the video up here, so you have to have a look back and see how the euro dollar gets on. But I'm going to wrap the video up here.